Does the president have the support of Congress with his announcements yesterday?
So far, yeah, Tom. I think Republicans are wishing he would do more. I think we heard from kind of the hawk wing of the party, represented by Senator John McCain, Senator Lindsey Graham, saying that there needs to be a comprehensive strategy that addresses Syria, potentially what's going on near Turkey right now as well. But what we've heard so far and what I've heard from Democrats who would be the ones most wary of this is, yes, they're supportive of what he's doing. I think Brendan hit a key point here. That word genocide is a trigger word, and I think that that has an impact both on the policy side of things, but it also has an impact on the political side of things, and I think Democrats recognize what the president's dealing with right now.
Phil, there's long been a conversation about who has the most sway within the White House, and this sort of makes me wonder whether Samantha Powers, the National Security Advisor, who, has done very important work on the word genocide and defining our obligations, does this mean that policy is in part being driven by her?
I don't know. It's tough to say. Look, I think the idea of intervening when something like this is occurring, when tens of thousands of people are in danger of being massacred, is certainly directly along the lines of what Sam Powers has been pushing for, fighting for the better part of the last couple of decades. So I think she has an impact. Obviously, she's not in the U.S., she's not in D.C. right now. She's up in New York, but she was involved yesterday throughout the discussions with the National Security Council, top security aides. I think what the president realized here, and what I've heard from National Security Council officials I've spoken to, is it was a combination of things, really. It was the humanitarian crisis, no doubt about it. There's a massacre that could occur. The U.S. felt like it was incumbent upon them to step in. But another crucial factor in this, there are U.S. assets in Erbil. And I think that is more than anything else the reason why targeted strikes were okayed. The idea that these forces, these militant forces, are moving so quickly that we could endanger U.S. forces right now, the president felt like he didn't have an option.
Phil, about a month ago, the president described his national security policy as "don't do dumb stuff." How does this fit into that?
That's the sanitized version of how he described it.
It is the sanitized version.
Look, I think what's been amazing, and you mentioned how full Secretary Kerry's plate is right now. What's been amazing over the last 3 months, you remember the president gave a speech at West Point that was supposed to lay out his foreign policy. It was supposed to be kind of the big speech for him, at least on the second-term side. Everything that's happened over the last 3 months has completely forced him to throw that away. I think that basically it's so difficult for the administration right now because they can't keep a broad, long-term policy. And I think that's how they look at everything. What's the long game? What's going to happen 10 and 20 years from now? These crises aren't crises that can be put off. They have to be addressed now.
Yeah, I agree, Scarlet. I think long-term policy's out the door when you got some 40,000 people on a mountaintop.
Absolutely. Phil, a lot of people question what took the president so long. What was the catalyst that pushed him to do just this?
Scarlet, there was a briefing call with senior administration officials last night, and the thing that I was really taken aback by throughout the entire call is they were stunned by how quickly this latest offensive by ISIL has moved. I think they were really surprised. I think obviously they moved extremely quickly. Everybody's caught off guard in June when this started. But what's happened in the siege that's occurred in this mountain, in this northwest Iraq region, has happened so quickly and really over the last 48 hours that I think they are caught off guard and they felt like this was a tipping point. Before this, I think they felt like they had control, Scarlet. I think last night they got concerned they didn't.